You guys need to think on that one.
Yeah.
So what, do we want to separate and caucus on just some of the things now?
Well,
Because we haven't seen.
We haven't seen any of y'all's
Yeah.
proposals.
Right, so, I mean, I can tell you, some of them are gonna be dependent, that's what I'm telling you, show us let's
Yeah.
talk the money kind of thing. Cause the money's gonna drive a lot of
Oh,
other
no.
things that, I mean, it always does.
Yeah.
What we can and can't do and what, you
But
know.
if we could take a short caucus.
Yeah, and let's just, wanna
Yeah.
do like, till 15 minutes right now or longer? Wanna do a longer caucus?
Let's go up to
30.
30.
After 30, let's do 30 minutes, take a break for about 30 minutes, and then come back. We'll come back at 10:45,
Yes, ma'am.
and then we can decide what
Thank
we
you.
wanna do. Yeah, and then we can look at the things that you've sent us too. There's stuff, I mean, we're looking for the low-hanging fruit, things
I
that we
know.
can agree to, and
And I think we've
we've done a lot.
picked a lot of low-hanging fruit.
Yeah. Okay, let's do that. Let's take a 30-minute break. We'll leave you in here for your privacy. And we'll find a place for us.
Sir, you're gonna have to exit again. We're in a caucus. Thank you. Well, I'll just tell you last week.
Excuse me, Chief. Is this, are these meetings that the government is holding, is this advisory in nature or is it decision-making in nature?
No, they're just negotiations.
Oh, okay, but in regards to the city council, are you having these meetings to just advise the city council or are you making decisions that the city council will just rubber stamp?
No, they're negotiations.
I understand the negotiations, but are formal decisions being made at these meetings?
No.
No, so the Open Meetings Act is not triggered by these
The
meetings?
Open Meetings Act is triggered by the meetings, but there are no formal decisions being made. This is the negotiating team, and we each submit proposals, and then we'll be able to make recommendations to the mayor and council of what the management team thinks should be approved. And then it'll all come to city council, and city council will vote on the proposals as they come up.
Okay, so once the Open Meetings Act is triggered,
It is triggered now. Negotiations take place, that's why you're in the room, that's why the door is open. Any member of the public can come in and sit and listen to the dialogue that's going back and forth. But when we do this, when we break apart and we're caucusing, it's just to kind of get a sense from us, the management team, and that are doing the same, the association's doing the same, saying, yeah, we're getting ready to say we can recommend that to our board. They have to take it back to their association board to vote on the contract too. So we're just in the very preliminary stages here.
So, what are the criminal offenses under the Open Meetings Act? There are 4, 2 of which are probably, to my knowledge, have never been actually enforced. Number 1 is participating in a closed meeting knowing that a certified agenda has not been kept or a recording of the closed meeting has not been made. My understanding would be if you were in a closed meeting, your lawyers are going to be present. If you're in a governmental body, your lawyers are going to be present during that meeting and ensuring that a certified agenda or a tape recording is being made at all times. Would that be true?
Well, if you're talking to the attorney, you don't need to do that.
Right, okay.
So it's a big.
That's a big, okay,
Commissioner's Court.
very good. That's a Class C misdemeanor. Have you ever heard of anybody getting prosecuted under this?
And then I will say, in some situations, we've seen the county judge keep a certified agenda when the topic is not for advice of the county attorney. So we are careful about that.
Very good. The next one is disclosing a certified agenda or a recording of the closed meeting without lawful authority. Now, what's interesting about this is that if you're a participant in a closed meeting, a lawfully conducted closed meeting, you can talk about what goes on in that meeting Of course, if you do that, then you're risking waiving, I guess, some serious privileges, and or the competitive advantage that you get, or at least your competitive, even keel that the closed meeting gives you. But there's nothing that prevents a member of the governmental body from talking about what goes on in a closed meeting. But you are not allowed to disclose the certified agenda or the tape recording of the meeting without proper authority. And that's a Class B misdemeanor. Again, I'm not sure that I've ever heard of anybody getting indicted for that. The two that come up the most, and at least complaints that we investigate, are going to be closed meetings without authority. That would be a quorum of the governmental body getting together and having a meeting without properly noticing it, putting together agenda, or just basically just meeting without there being an open meeting taking place. That is kind of a Class B misdemeanor. It's got its own kind of punishment range, but we analogize it to a Class B misdemeanor. The other one that's kind of an interesting one, and it took me a while to get my head around this one, is, but it's an absolutely necessary criminal proceeding, is when you meet in numbers less than a quorum with the intention of evading the requirements of the Open Meetings Act. And what this is really kind of contemplating is the idea of people saying, okay, if we all got together in a quorum, that would require posting and notice and all the other requirements of the Open Meetings Act. But if we meet kind of like two of us at a time and we sort all these issues out together and we kind of daisy chain something together, then we can get this thing resolved without actually having to do it in public. And so the Act really doesn't want to give that loophole away. The Act is essentially saying if you're in the business of getting together with the idea that you're going to evade these requirements, then that in and of itself is a offense. The best example of this is cited in the Open Meetings handbook is Esperanza Peace and Justice Center versus City of San Antonio. This is out of a federal court, and they really kind of detailed in this case, the circumstances where this kind of walking quorum could take place. In this situation, there was an open city council meeting that was scheduled to be held the next day. They were going to be taking up budget issues, and the mayor and several city council members met in the city manager's office and talked with other folks by telephone about the budget. Ultimately, they made a decision about what was going to be approved in the next meeting, and in the next meeting they went ahead and ratified the previous decision without any serious deliberations or discussion. And in this situation, there were a lot of aggravating circumstances, the most significant of which is that the city manager actually kept track of which members were present so as to ensure that there was not a quorum at any given time, because they were thinking to themselves, well, as long as there's not a quorum, I don't have to worry about it. And then they all reached consensus, and of course, we love this in prosecution. They memorialized it with the signatures of each council member so that there was a manifested consensus. And then what they did after that was just rubber stamped the agreement that they had all made. And when federal court took this up in the civil context of whether this was avoidable action and should be reversed, they ultimately said that yes, this is that the Open Meetings Act does apply to groups less than a quorum where it appears that they were deliberately meeting in groups less than a quorum to discuss or deliberate public business and then ratifying it. And one of the things you're going to again see in the context of this process is going to be the idea that that ultimately what the Open Meetings Act is intended to do is to ensure that really significant decisions about money, employment, and county business are done in public. And so if there are people less than a quorum who are meeting before the meeting to resolve these issues, and the governmental body members are actually dealing with these issues in a way that ultimately results in a rubber stamp decision after the fact, that gives us some cause to be concerned about it.
Hi guys, this is Andre, Horizon City News. And I posted this video earlier this morning It was around midnight is when I posted it, Mountain Standard Time. So April 2nd, it was earlier this morning, like I said. And I went to sleep for a couple hours. I got up. I took a look at the video. I put it, I had thrown it out there just before I went to sleep. And I thought I double-checked everything. I usually get it right, but sometimes I mess up every now and then. And I'm a little, I guess you could say, a little bit anal about my, my editing. And especially when it comes to audio. And so long story short, the video had some audio glitches. Basically, there was just, the audio wasn't matched up with the movement of people's mouths. That was the main issue. Anyway, no need to get into all the details with you guys, but I had audio issues, which hopefully are solved. So I'm now reposting this video, which was posted earlier this morning. It's still the same day. It's April 2nd, 2024, but it's now the afternoon. And here's the video. Thanks for watching Horizon City News, guys. And as you can see from the title of this video, I'm trying to just, at the very least, document the fact that the city clerk of Horizon City, Texas, and the city attorney of Horizon City, Texas, gave me two different answers earlier this month. Now that it's April 2nd, 2024, now it was actually last month. But last month, in March of 2024, I got two different answers regarding the same topic, which is, does the Texas Open Meetings Act apply? Is it triggered? Is the Texas Open Meeting Act triggered by the meetings between the law enforcement union, the Horizon City, Texas Police Department union, and the Horizon City, Texas town government? When they meet for collective bargaining, to create a union contract between the police department people, who I assume they're all in the union, unless one of them has happened to opt out. I assume they're all in the union. When the union creates a contract with the town government of Horizon City, Texas, there was confusion on my part because I was being told by the city clerk initially through a phone call on March 14th. I think there was another instance where someone had told me that the Texas Open Meeting Act doesn't apply, but I definitely have a phone call, which you're about to hear, on March 14th, where the city clerk did not, she did not believe the Texas Open Meetings Act applied to these meetings between the law enforcement union for Horizon City, Texas, and the town government of Horizon City, Texas. So that's what she believed, at least during the phone call of March 14th. Then, fast forward 4 days later, on March 18th, 2024, the city attorney told me herself in person, Ms. Frith, I hope I'm pronouncing her last name right, her first name is Sylvia. She told me personally that the Texas Open Meetings Act does apply to these meetings, as well as along with other statutes in Texas law, such as I found out later, there's a special set of statutes that deal with union bargaining meetings for firefighters and police officers. There's a special statute in the state of Texas just for firefighters and police officers, which I'm not sure if that would apply to paramedics as well. I know most firefighters, or many firefighters, are also paramedics as well, but I'm not quite sure if someone was like strictly just a paramedic, if they would be covered under that. That's kind of how my brain works. I always think about those left field things. Maybe I'll look into that later. But anyway, yeah. So the Texas Open Meetings Act applies to these meetings, along with, right along with it is the statute that deals with union bargaining for police and firefighters, because they're a special class of people in the state of Texas, which I briefly read that chapter of the law where apparently they're not allowed to go on strike. So it appears that the Texas legislature has, tried to, I guess, beef up their right to create a union and bargain for all of their working conditions, and they've actually built it into the state law apparently. And I'm guessing that's because since they're not allowed to go on strike, at least that's what I interpreted. Maybe I read it wrong, but from when I glossed over it very quickly, I could have sworn I saw somewhere that I don't think that police and firefighters are allowed to go on strike. Or maybe I'm wrong about that. I'll have to check it. I'll have to double check that. But I definitely know for sure that the law was showing that, just like Ms. Frith said, just like Sylvia said, the city attorney, that there's a separate statute for police and firefighters when they have these union meetings between their organization of either cops or firefighters with their, local government that they're bargaining with, which in this case is the town government of Horizon City, Texas. Anyway, here's the video. Apologies for taking it down, but I had to because I had messed up on the editing, the audio issues. So let's listen to the phone call, and then with the city clerk, which is Olivia Schuler, and then you'll see later in the video that also that the city attorney gave her opinion and then dispelled what the city clerk had initially understood from what laws applied to these meetings. So that's what this video is about, is I'm documenting all of that for the people to see and hear. All right, thanks for watching Horizon City News. Anybody needs to contact me by phone, by text, my number's down there. My email's down there if you want to email me, which I prefer email. I also have my Facebook page down there. And thanks for watching Horizon City News. I'll be in touch. And I'll just keep on documenting these union meetings between the Horizon City, Texas Police Department Union, which is represented by CLEAT, the Combined Law Enforcement Association of Texas. That's their union, and they're bargaining with the town government of Horizon City, Texas. All right, thanks, guys. I'll be in touch. Thanks for watching Horizon City News.
City Clerk's office, may I help you?
Hello. Yes, hello, Elvia. This is Andre.
Oh, yes, sir. How are you?
Yes.
Sorry, I was into the building.
I'm not sure how busy you are. I just have some questions about the meeting with the police union on Tuesday.
Yes.
Yes, I was. It appeared you were writing stuff down during the meeting. I was wondering if those were the minutes of the meeting.
They're notes. We don't actually take minutes, but I have notes. Would you like the notes?
Yes, please.
Okay, can you send me a quick email, if you would? And then I'll go ahead and return them right over to you. I'd be happy to.
Okay. Let me ask this, though. Why is there no minutes taken?
They're notes. It's not a city council meeting, per se. It's just a committee meeting is what it is. But I do have notes, and that's what I was doing. But I do have the notes if you want me to go ahead and send them over to you.
No, and I will take those notes. But one thing I'd like to mention is that on February 28th, it appeared that some sort of formal action was taken by the city attorney when she was signing documents with the union representative.
Yeah, those were what they were is an agreement to the articles, that everybody agreed to the articles, that we were going to follow those. And that's what she had everybody sign off, that everybody was going to agree to follow the ground rules and the articles. So that's basically what it was. It wasn't formal action per se, but it's just that everybody agreed that everybody was going to follow the ground rules and follow the articles of the association. Want me to send you both, the notes from both meetings?
Yes, please. And I'm a
Okay,
little
will do.
confused as to. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
No, I said will do.
Yeah, I will definitely take both those sets of documents that you mentioned. But in regards to when you say the word articles, I mean, are you talking about?
It's the
I'm sorry?
articles from, it's the what they're referring to at the last meeting, as you notice, it was in Article 1, Article 2, Article 3. Those are the agreement sections, is what it is. So what he was doing is reading every article. Okay, Article 1 refers to definitions. Article 2 refers to so-and-so. So each article has a section. And he goes down the line, and I mean Todd Harrison. He's the CBA, the CLEAT rep. So the association rep. He comes from Dallas, and he reads each one, and then he says, "Okay, we're going to discuss this. We're going to discuss that." So, what email do I send it to? It's going to be what is your email address?
Yeah, it'll probably self-populate because I've exchanged emails with you in the past. Andre Logren. Yeah.
Yeah, there it is. Sure enough.
Yeah. So yeah, the documents that you said, any type of notes that you took on February 28th, 2024, any notes that you took on what was Tuesday? I guess that was the 12th of March, 2024.
Yes.
And then I'm sorry. Go ahead.
No, I said yes, sir. I heard you.
Oh, great. Yes, I appreciate it. And let me ask you this: previous to February 28th, 2024, was there any type of gathering of city employees or city council members regarding the collective bargaining agreement for the police union?
No, sir. They only happen every 4 years, so no.
Okay, so February 28th, 2024, that was the very first meeting.
Yes, sir. Yes, it was.
Okay. Now, obviously, as we both know, both at the February 28th, 2024 meeting and on March 12th, that on both those meetings so far, the city council was not present.
That's right.
So, obviously, you guys are not trying to hide anything because you're putting notices to the public saying, here's the meeting.
Correct.
Which is how I found out about it. But then when someone walks in, like me, like essentially what you're telling me or what I'm interpreting is that the Open Meetings Act has not been triggered because no formal action is being taken at these meetings.
That's correct. Yes, sir.
Okay.
Anything that's going to be discussed, if there's going to be anything that's going to be, say that they require, it'll go to city council. But this is just discussions. This is what they want. So these are like formal discussions between the city and PD on their next contract. But then the contract, of course, has to be approved.
Right, and so that's. I'm sorry. Go ahead. Yeah.
No, I was looking for just to make sure that I do have. Let me respond.
Okay.
Horizon City News, and it's Andre Langren 71 at Gmail. Yes, got it. Okay. Yes, sir.
Yeah. So, you just answered, I guess, whatever question I was about to come up with there. You got a couple miles ahead of me right there. It's that basically that's why I've always been concerned about ever since the very first meeting on February 28th is because I'm definitely no expert in Open Meetings Act laws. So this is all new for me as well. I'm learning. I'm not going to try to claim that I know all this stuff about the Open Meetings Act. I'm learning. But
yes,
from the very beginning on February 28th, I was concerned because I thought that it was a meeting that did trigger the Open Meetings Act. But as I've done more research in the law and based on the explanations you've given me, I could tell that this is just a gathering of city people, but that doesn't necessarily mean it's an actual Open Meetings Act regulated meeting. It's just a meeting of people.
Correct. That's correct.
Right.
Yes, sir.
Right. So I guess my next question, now that that's all explained, and now that my suspicions have been dispelled about that, my next question would be: do you happen to have an anticipated date when the city council meeting will actually meet to take formal action regarding the union contract?
No, not yet. Until I guess we get done. Right now we have, as you know, we have a meeting scheduled on the 18th, another one on the 25th, and that's the last one that we anticipate, but it could go into April if for some reason we don't finish. And right now we're anticipating that it's every Monday until they're done. Then once they're done and both sides agree, okay, this is what we're going to take to council, then at that meeting we will decide when to take it to council. May I take this call real quick?
Oh, yeah. Do you think?
Okay. Thank you.
Yep.
Yes, sir.
In this Crime of the Week, Crime Stoppers in the El Paso Police Department are looking to identify a group of teens involved in a shooting that left one man wounded in a central El Paso park.
On Sunday, February 25th at 2 p.m., a group of car clubs was having a cookout at Lincoln Park at 4001 Durazno. A group of teens became involved in an argument. One teen fired a handgun multiple times, wounding a 47-year-old man who was a bystander. The teen that fired the weapon is a Hispanic male, 16 to 19 years of age, and was wearing a camouflage-colored jacket. According to witnesses, the teen gunman was at least with 3 other teens, and they were seen running towards Roosevelt Street.
Anyone with any information on this shooting should call Crime Stoppers of El Paso at 566-8477. That's 566-TIPS.
But let's say he can still work. This person can still work.
But it would still be
not
covered
in
under
the field.
workers' compensation, and so that's why we have light duty at different places where people go when they're on workers' comp. And pregnancy, I have to tell you that a lot of women would have a lot of heartache with you trying to move them just because they're pregnant.
But not all pregnancies are equal.
But if you still had a doctor's note or whatever, your high-risk pregnancy, it's taken care of.
Where this comes in some places is not so much being able to do the patrol officer's job. It's sometimes, such as a family life-changing divorce, where you had 2 parents raising a young child, where now suddenly you have a young female raising a baby by herself, and if she's on night shift, it's very difficult to find babysitters if you don't have family.
How is that legal to do that to the other officers? To say, okay, because this is a woman who has a baby at home, she doesn't have to work.
Same way we've had officers that have been moved from night shift to day shift because they got diagnosed with.
That's a medical condition. See, that's what I'm saying, things that are in the law, if we're talking about treating people, I think you're going and trying to take us into really dangerous waters and exposing us to liability for personal reasons somebody doesn't want to do their job. And I think that's where you're gonna get pushback from us because we try to treat everybody equally. And, yes, we have to comply with all the laws with regard to ADA, and if they've got a medical diagnosis, all of that takes care of itself. So that's what we're saying, what doesn't take care of it. So just personal preference, which that's not gonna fly. And certainly then you'll have other officers who will say, wait a minute, why am I always on night shift? Just because XYZ doesn't want to, or says it's a hardship for them to show up at night?
We're gonna need to caucus on this one.
Yeah, that one is, I really think from our perspective, that's what I'm trying to think. The whole time I'm sitting here, I'm going, well, that would get taken care of by ADA. Well, that would get taken care of by the workers' comp. That gets taken care of, so it's like, how are we gonna define this personal hardship? And then it becomes very subjective because you have 3 people that are gonna sit in a room and go, oh yeah, we feel sorry for this one, so we're gonna let them change their duty assignment or their schedule. And I think that's a problem for us as to administer that. And it may actually not be a problem, if we've found ways to deal with it in the past.
Okay.
You guys need to think on that one.
Yeah.
So what, do we want to separate and caucus on just some of the things now?
Well,
Because we haven't seen.
We haven't seen any of y'all's
Yeah.
proposals.
Right, so, I mean, I can tell you, some of them are gonna be dependent, that's what I'm telling you, show us let's
Yeah.
talk the money kind of thing. Cause the money's gonna drive a lot of
Oh,
other
no.
things that, I mean, it always does.
Yeah.
What we can and can't do and what, you
But
know.
if we could take a short caucus.
Yeah, and let's
speak.
just, wanna
Yeah.
do like, till 15 minutes right now or longer? Wanna do a longer caucus?
Let's go up to
30.
30.
After 30, let's do 30 minutes, take a break for about 30 minutes, and then come back. We'll come back at 10:45,
Yes, ma'am.
and then we can decide what
Thank
we
you.
want to do. Yeah, and then we can look at the things that you've sent us too. If there's stuff, I mean, we're looking for the low-hanging fruit, things
I
that we
know.
can agree to, and
And I think we've
we've done a lot.
picked a lot of low-hanging fruit.
Yeah. Okay, let's do that. Let's take a 30-minute break. We'll leave you in here for your privacy. And we'll find a place for us.
Sir, you're gonna have to exit again. We're in a caucus. Thank you. Well, I'll just tell you last week.
Excuse me, Chief. Is this, are these meetings that the government is holding, is this advisory in nature or is it decision-making in nature?
No, they're just negotiations.
Oh, okay, but in regards to the city council, are you having these meetings to just advise the city council, or are you making decisions that the city council will just rubber stamp?
No, they're negotiations.
I understand the negotiations, but are formal decisions being made at these meetings?
No.
No, so the Open Meetings Act is not triggered by these
The
meetings?
Open Meetings Act is triggered by the meetings, but there are no formal decisions being made. This is the negotiating team, and we each submit proposals, and then we'll be able to make recommendations to the mayor and council of what the management team thinks should be approved. And then it'll all come to city council, and city council will vote on the proposals as they come up.
Okay, so once the Open Meetings Act is triggered,
It is triggered now. Negotiations take place, that's why you're in the room, that's why the door is open. Any member of the public can come in and sit and listen to the dialogue that's going back and forth. But when we do this, when we break apart and we're caucusing, it's just to kind of get a sense from us, the management team, and that are doing the same, the association's doing the same, saying, yeah, we're getting ready to say we can recommend that to our board. They have to take it back to their association board to vote on the contract too. So we're just in the very preliminary stages here.
I understand, and I'm not trying to,
No, I understand, just explain trying to explain the process, because it's not something everybody does every day, so, yeah.
right, so every meeting might be a little bit different, but in regards to the Open Meetings Act, I'm just trying to, because I'm learning too about
Sure,
the Open Meetings Act. I'm just trying to make sure that because the word triggered is important, so once Open Meetings Act is triggered, that's a legal thing.
Yes,
So
so the state statute requires us to post our meetings and to conduct our meetings, our negotiation sessions in public. So we are already subject to the Open Meetings Act.
okay, but there's many other criteria that also has to be followed, right?
Yes.
And which I don't know, I'm still researching.
Right,
but-
so under the Open Meetings Act, basically what we need to do is we need to post an agenda that would give a reasonable person, any person, opportunity to know what we're gonna be talking about. So in our case, we're gonna be talking about, and you've been sitting with us, in very general terms, the contract. And so we're gonna go through the contract and we say, okay, there's no need, where's the need for changes? Who needs change? Generally driven by the association, right? They're the ones that call for the bargaining sessions. We sit and we, as the association team and the city's team, try to reach a point where we say, okay, these things are, yeah, you're correct. We found a typo. This needs to be fixed. We're missing a definition, whatever it is. The ultimate goal is for us to come together, and it doesn't always happen, but we would hopefully come together to the council and say, here's the contract that we think will work, and we've reached, I don't even want to call it agreement, but both parties are willing to recommend it to their respective boards. They take it back to the union board, we take it to the city council, and hopefully we reach an agreement. But yeah, this is all, but the caucusing is like, okay, they're going to say, well, their negotiating stance, what they're going to say back to us about the things that we proposed. For example, like the easiest thing right now, we asked them to reduce the rollover of their leave request from 1,200 hours to 1,000. So they're probably in there visiting about that. And then we'll come and say, the big discussions will take place when they request they submit their proposal for compensation increases, et cetera. Then we take those back, and what can the city afford in the next budget cycle? And then that's what's going on back and forth that way.
Yes, ma'am, and I appreciate all those details. I'm not going to keep you here all day.
No, it's
I know
okay.
you're trying to go on your break, but one thing I'd like to establish here is that the people's business is being discussed in this room.
Yes, absolutely.
Okay, so my main concern is, where is the city council that represents the people?
Well, the city council will be in at the very end when they either approve the recommendation or not.
Okay, but that's why I keep getting at with the Open Meetings Act. The Open Meetings Act is very clear that to have an open meeting,
Right.
the governing body needs to form a quorum.
No. So we are subject to the Open Meetings Act. We, as acting as representatives for the city and for the union, we are now acting in that role. And so any member of the public can come in and observe observe what's going on.
Okay, and one last thing I'd like to add, I know you're trying to go,
That's okay.
but based on what you just said in the last sentence or two, I believe the Texas Attorney General would consider that to be a committee.
I think in statute, they actually refer to it as a negotiating team. Because this is specifically covered by state statute. So you have
Yes,
to
the
look,
Texas Open Meetings Act.
well, the negotiation for police,
There's a separate.
there is a separate statute that
Oh,
talks
okay.
about how we do this.
Well, that's why you're the lawyer, okay.
Yeah, no, that's right.
Right,
So,
okay, yeah, okay.
And that's why I'm happy to explain it too.
Yes,
Because
ma'am.
it's not something that you see very often.
Right.
Every 3 to 5 years, the police department comes together.
Oh, and that's why I'm here recording.
Yeah, absolutely.
Right, okay.
Yeah.
Well,
And
thank you for.
We're very happy to have you.
Thank you for your time.
Thank you.
Yes.
Sorry, not more.
Oh, sorry, guys. I didn't even realize there's people here waiting. I'm sorry. Yeah.
It's all right.
Let me just get out of your way. I'm sorry. Yeah.